So today on the channel, I'm going to be doing a preview of the top 25 this week, aka week 5, and really just doing an overview of each team, how good they are, and how I see them doing this upcoming week. And I'm probably going to do this the rest of this season. So let's hop right into it. So first off at 25 is Michigan State. They're currently at 3-1 and they're led by QB Brian Lewerke. I don't know how you say it. The senior and who I think is the leader of this team, who's having a solid season so far with 1,025 passing yards, 7 TDs, the 1 interception. Compared to last year, he's shown tons of improvement where he went for 2,040 yards, 8 TDs, and 11 picks. He's solid with DSJ having a solid year with 30 receptions for 439 and a TD, and their only loss to Arizona State in a heartbreaker. I see a solid year for Sparty and a W this week against Indiana. Next up is Kansas State at 3-0. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know much about them, but they have a solid win over Mississippi State and play a good Baylor team this week. Maybe in a couple weeks I will know about them, but till then, let's move on to 23. At 23, you have probably the best 2-2 team in the nation with Texas A&M. Finally, a small break for the Aggies as they play Arkansas. They have played and lost to Auburn, Clemson, almost beating Auburn, and getting pretty shredded though by Clemson, but that ain't really fair. That team is kind of great. Led by star QB Kellen Mond Jr., looking for a big year. Last year he had a solid year, 3,100 yards, 24 TDs to 9 picks, rushing for 474 and 7 TDs. Pretty good. That's all I'm going to say. I say a pretty big win against Arkansas this week before Bama the next week. Next up, right after an upset, UCF goes down. They're now 3-1, and that's their first loss in 2 years. They still have an explosive offense, but I just don't really know what to think about them now. But this week they played one of the worst defenses of all time last year in UConn, so I see a massive win before they have to play Cincy next week. And now we move on to 21, and that is USC, 3-1, and now very inconsistent. Their QB goes down every week, it feels like now. And this week they play 17th ranked Washington, who I'll talk about later. So let's just go ahead and go on to the next one. But very inconsistent QB play. At 20 is Michigan at 2-1, and all I need to say is disappointing. I could leave it there. Shea Patterson is a shell of his former self. They're going to beat up on the Rutgers this week, but I see a fall off for them. Keep going. And at number 19, we have Utah now at 3-1 after they lost to USC. They still have a great quarterback in Huntley and star running back Zach Moss, who's ran for 393 and 4 touchdowns. I still think they're going to finish strong in a big win this week against Oregon State. Next up is Virginia at 18, sitting at 4-0, and a very interesting team. And I think QB Bryce Perkins is very underrated. He's thrown for 843, 6 TDs, 4 picks, ran for 193 and 2 more, and he's truly a pleasure to watch. And this has really proved themselves game against 10th ranked Notre Dame this week. Let's move on. Next up at 17 is Washington, who's 3-1 with Georgia transfer Jacob Eason, who was balling for 1,000 yards, 10 TDs to 2 picks, and their only loss going to now ranked Cal, 20-19. Honestly, see them beating USC pretty handily, as I just haven't seen enough from them yet. So pretty simple, and on to the next team. Now at 16 we got Boise State, who of course is at 4-0, out of the Mountain West with the true freshman quarterback, possibly the next Kellen Moore, and an insane comeback against Florida State in week 1, and I see them honestly going undefeated or only having 1 loss, and they get an easy dub this week against UNLV. and expect a big game from running back Mahomes. Next up at 15 is Cal, who is also 4-0. I don't know much about them. I have to say I'm a little more. A close win versus Ole Miss, and the next 5 weeks are going to be pretty rough. So let's just really see how they keep going, and they play a really good unranked Arizona State team this week. And next up at 14 is Iowa, now sitting at 3-0. They just beat Iowa State, and they're going to play Michigan next week, then Penn State. Stanley solid, and so was Sarge. So I see a good year, and there'll be something to look forward for the rest of the season. I'm just going to be simple. At 13 is Oregon at 3-1 with the superstar quarterback Justin Herbert, 1,100 yards, 14 TDs, 0 picks, and also a big year for wide receiver Breland, and I say that continues against number 15th ranked Cal. 3-0 at 12 is Penn State. They haven't played a big team yet, but I thought they'd take a step back, losing Trace and Miles, but so far, so good, and I say they don't stop. Easy W against Maryland this week. And sitting at 11 is Texas at 3-1, and Sam Ellinger is amazing, and so is Ingram, and so is Duvernay, and their only loss is the LSU, and that was a good close loss. And I see a pretty big win this week against the Mountaineers. That's all I'm going to say. We're cracking in the top 10. We start out with 10th ranked Notre Dame, who's 10-1, and surprised a lot of people and kept it close for Georgia. But Ian Book is not the same quarterback from a year ago. And I say we see them slip more with a loss to 18th ranked Virginia. And now sitting at number 9 is Florida, now at 4-0. And I don't like this Florida team with Franks out, but P-Ryan is a good running back, and CJ is good on defense, but I definitely see a massive win over Towson this week, and it'll be interesting to see how their season progresses. And next up at number 8 is Wisconsin at 3-0, and Jonathan Taylor is a superstar at RBU, and with 440 and 7 TDs on the ground, and 70 with 3 touchdowns through the air. He's amazing, and with a big win over Michigan this year, could be a big one for the Badgers, and I foresee a big W over Northwestern this week. At number 7 is Auburn, who's 4-0, and with dubs over Oregon and Texas A&M, freshman quarterback Bo Nix is looking real, and a dub against Mississippi State is looking very easy right now. And sitting at 6 and is 3-0 is Oklahoma, and I'm going to say one thing and one thing only. Jalen Hurts and CC. Enough said. Now cracking in the top 5 is Ohio State at 4-0, and I could make this simple, but Justin Fields is real. 880, 13 touchdowns, no interceptions through the air, with 150 and 6 touchdowns on the ground. Plus J.K. Dobbins ain't even fair. Blowout versus Nebraska. And at 4 is LSU sitting at 4-0, and man, is Joe Burrow ever looking like a true Heisman candidate, and he continues it with probably 6 more touchdowns against Utah State, who's disappointed me with J.Love. And at 3 is Georgia, 4-0 off the big win against Notre Dame by 6, and an absolute slaughter here. Cheney going against Georgia's former team, but the Georgia rushing attack continues against the disappointing and sadly my team, the Tennessee Vols. 2 and surprisingly 4-0 Alabama. They get the week off before A&M, so I'll talk about them next week more in depth, but Tua's Tua, so explosion. Boom! And at number 1, of course, Clemson, 4-0, and an easy win against North Carolina, who just lost the Appalachian State. But it ain't even the Trevor Lawrence show anymore. It's really just the Travis Etienne show now. That concludes my first ever top 25 review or preview, whatever you want to call it. I hope y'all enjoyed. It would literally make my day if you liked and subscribed. I worked very hard on this, and I really hope y'all enjoyed this. Love y'all all, and I hope y'all have a wonderful last day.